This is the final segment to Chapter 6 of The Manipulated Mind by Denise Wynn. Our prisoner, meanwhile, is still listening to the propaganda. Vernon says that now is the time to reward any signs of conversion. So the prisoner is asked questions about Islam over the intercom. If he replies in the desired way, he might get a little light or a new kind of food. Later he might even be allowed to talk to someone in person. Vernon points out that this reward tactic for right responses was certainly commonly used by the Chinese and suggests why they were so often successful. These responses are forthcoming from the individual and not forced out of him by pain or punishment, thereby making them more nearly his own beliefs. Still acting the role of the propagandist, Vernon pursues his theme even further. We now feel that we can devise a system that will enhance the increased suggestibility to an ever greater extent. It is possible that the suggestions given by the experimenter will be much more effective if he is established as a figure of authority in the mind of the subject. Suggestibility probably can be increased if the subject is more dependent upon the experimenter during the sensory deprivation. For example, if the experimenter gives him meals, permission to leave the bed to go to the toilet, tells him when he may sleep, interrupts his sleep with occasional tasks, regulates his water supply, and in general becomes part of his every activity, at the same time keeping his activities to a minimum. Vernon's hypothesis is not outlandish, nor particularly difficult to arrange, and it certainly takes advantage of all that is known about attitude influence techniques. From real studies on suggestibility in sensory deprivation conditions, Vernon found that suggestibility in all ways could be increased after 2 to 3 days and become 4 times greater than before. But he also found that it was lost no longer than 2 days after the experimental conditions were terminated, if gains were not consolidated thereafter. Why should one become suggestible in such conditions? Vernon explains that the brainstem reticular formation acts as a way station for all messages coming in and going out of the brain. Normally it inhibits some messages and enhances others, thus dictating which ones get paid conscious attention. Conditions of sensory deprivation probably reduce the amount of information passing through the reticular formation, suggests Vernon. If this is the case, then the importance of any given sets of neural events may be greatly enhanced. Said more simply, under the conditions of sensory deprivation, the human may be able to content himself with ideas or cognitions that he would otherwise simply dismiss. This chapter and the previous 3 have attempted to highlight the part that conditioned learning, conditioned emotions, unquestioned assumptions, and unconscious social behavior, which produced the brainwashing effect on American POWs in Korea, can also play individually to influence ordinary everyday behavior and decisions. The next chapters investigate whether such processes, singly or in combination, may help to explain how hypnosis works, how dramatic political and religious conversions are experienced, and how respected authority figures such as the police and doctors can unwittingly direct behavior in ordinary society. And that, my friends, ends that monstrously long chapter, chapter 6. The next chapter will be hypnosis, and this one, thankfully, is not as long. So we're moving through this book still. Hopefully we'll get through it, because I would love to read The Rape of the Mind to you. That's an amazing book, and I think you'll enjoy that one too. Okay, see you in chapter 7.